time, dancing around. He's in trouble, gets out of the scrum, looking downfield, and he's got a man. Gets to the 10, to the 5, he's in. Touchdown, Marcy's, yes. That is intercepted. It's fumbled, and Neely is going to walk into the end zone.
It's the Coach's Corner with legendary head football coach from Mater Dei High School, Bruce Rollinson. Let's join our host, Kevin Turner, and Coach Rollinson for in-depth discussion, commentary, and all things Mater Dei football.
And we are back on campus. Kevin Turner along with Mater Dei head football coach Bruce Rollinson. And it's like Christmas Day all over again. Yeah. You guys are cranking it back up. Practice officially started on Tuesday. We're taping today's show on Thursday. You're 2 practices in, and just, I mean, I got goosebumps right now. You got to just be excited as all get up and go to have this thing rolling again.
Now, you know what, Kevin? Friday we got the official word, and we scrambled around Friday to prepare for Monday's onslaught because we had no equipment out. And thank God Leo Bose, my main man, had already fitted everybody. So now it was just a matter of putting it together and distributing it. We decided not to do anything Monday other than equipment issues. So then we were ready to go Tuesday. And I've said this a couple times. It's like 32 years ago, and I'm getting ready for my first Camp Monarch. I feel like that. You don't realize how much excitement it brings, especially 8 months we've been doing, 9 months we've been doing, jumping over bags and trying to figure out, is this legal? Is that legal? And then all of a sudden they say, hey, it's on. And you've gone through August camp. Okay, is it going to be the same? No, but the excitement's the same. The energy is the same. I mean, they didn't want to take their helmets off because there's certain periods where you can't have helmets because they could whack a shoulder. They didn't even want to take them off. And it's funny with kids, you know, I caught them a few times checking themselves out in the mirror, you know, in the bathroom, you know. And I was kidding them. I said, hey, did you remember the face mask goes in front? It's been so long since you put them on. But, and then Tuesday, you could just feel the difference in practice. You could feel the urgency going up. Now, there's some habits that were created by COVID practices that we have to break. Simple stuff like not wearing your right socks or wearing too much, you know, too many wristbands. But I can correct that stuff. But overall, I'll tell you what, you know, we're going to go our last helmeted practice, as you said, our last helmeted practice tonight. And then tomorrow we gas it up. And you know, any problem that's coming up is a good problem to have. We're excited, you know, to finish it off strong tonight. And then tomorrow, you know, I'm going to have to be careful because they may kill each other.
What time is that? Can this broadcaster
with your official capacity of Mater Dei podcasts and any one of our sponsors? But yeah,
I'd love to be there.
I would say that there's an official capacity that would be allowed allow you on the field with your mask on. But I tell you what, at 3:30, you know, look out because. I started to say this, I got to be careful that we don't hit too much. They haven't had pads on since December of whatever year it was, 2019. And so, you know, ease it into it. But you know me, once we start going, you know, I'm going to be gassed up. Got to do what we got to do.
What was it like waking up Tuesday morning knowing that you were going live and in color?
I'll tell you what, Saturday morning, I woke up at whatever 6 o'clock and the staff, we got together at 8 a.m. and we grinded for 5 hours organizing practice plans and talking personnel and we were all looking at each other saying, finally, you know, because we don't care about Saturdays, you know. I said goodbye to my wife, and she knows I'm into it now for the next 10 weeks, 7 days a week. But even the staff meeting was different, Kevin. Even, you know, it was like we were enjoying just talking about stuff that we've talked about for 32 years in the organization. And then you're right. I mean, seeing those helmets come out on the field Monday was, you know, it almost brought a tear to my eye. I'm telling you, I didn't think it was coming. I believed and I kept preaching it would, you know, but you know, there's those stinking thinking in the back of your head saying, oh my God, what if we don't? Well, we are now. We are.
Well,
now.
I've always said, and you've echoed this for years, whether you're on a college campus or whether you're at a high school campus, football sets the tone for the academic year. And what I saw when I pulled into the parking lot today, as I was checking in with Coach Money at the Murillo Center, the kids were transitioning in between classes. They all had their hoodies, their college colors, they were wearing them. But there was a skip in the step of these students because I'm looking over at the pool. I see guys in lacrosse, the baseball guys. Yeah. So there's definitely a whole new reset on campus. And the energy is just, it looks like it's off the charts.
Oh, yeah. Did you run into Ralik?
Yes, I did. Ralik had a little skip in his step.
Exactly.
Malik Brown is the outstanding running back that will be in his first year here at Mater Dei, and he's committed to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. He's going to Norman, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
going to be a Boomer Sooner. And I think candidly, I think that's a great fit for that young man.
Yeah, that was his dream. You know what's interesting? I'm glad you ran into Ralik because it's harder for everybody to understand unless you see it. And, you know, 3:30 is going to roll around. Now, I've got a couple of groups. I've got one at 1 and one at 2. We've cut down. They'll get their lift in. We back down just a little. I want all the energy on Friday, okay? I don't want to have them heavy leg because we did too much lifting. They'll get their 3 lifts in. But we won't lift hard. We'll be doing flexibility stuff tomorrow before practice. I want every ounce of strength and energy they've got going into Friday night's practice or late afternoon's practice. And then we're spinning around in less than 24 hours and going back Saturday morning. And I think the parking structure is going to be full of parents because they can't get on the field. But, you know, and then they can rest Sunday. Then it'll lock in on Monday. And now we start moving towards that first game. For the fans out there, I'm trying to find a scrimmage. I don't know if I will. I could scrimmage March 6th.
Chargers are right up the street here.
It's about the only guys that I probably will end up calling them. Yeah, there's
5 minutes away.
There's a lot of guys that aren't answering my phone calls because everybody knows.
Well, there's some logistical issues, and explain that because it's not as straightforward as it's been in years past with adjacencies in counties. So, can you share what the challenge is right now for week 1?
Yeah, there's really only 2 counties that hit the number. L.A. County, which nobody saw it coming, and the people that live in L.A. County really took care of business, and Orange County. And so, unfortunately, my friends and the players of Riverside and San Bernardino County and San Diego County didn't hit the number. So now the pool is reduced of teams. And then you had, guys matching up and then, Mater Dei, do we want to play Mater Dei? Matt Logan at Corona Centennial, I mean, we would have been playing them had they been released. There's no doubt in my mind because Matt's not going to back down from anybody. And we have a history of playing them first for a lot of years now. And we'll play them first in August, whatever it is, August 22nd, what I call the second season. We've already scheduled that game. But, it'll fall into place. Worst scenario, March 19th at J. Sarah, And I think it's funny because, I wish I could tell you people that will listen to Kevin and I have no idea about tickets, how many fans we're going to have, if we're going to have fans. What I can tell you is we will live stream each game. I don't know what format, whether it's free or what it costs. I don't know those details. That's above my pay grade. I would assume that Fox is in meetings right now. discussing the possibility of Friday night football, and then Prep Zone doing some games. I was hoping you'd say, yeah, they've already called me, but so that will be available either online or live through Fox. So we'll see where it goes. And so we know we have 5 games, our Trinity League, and they will be good football games. We have the bowl locked down for 2 of those. Ironically enough, Orange Lutheran is going to play us at the bowl, but I'll be on the opposite sidelines. I will be the away team that night, so I have 3 at the bowl now. Servite is trying to find a facility. And then, as I said, Jay Sarah will be down there. I'm not sure about Santa Margarita.
Saddleback, are they gonna be ready in time for this spring season?
Well, you and I have seen all the pictures.
Yeah,
I mean,
it looks
what
beautiful.
a facility.
Yeah.
I mean, God, they talk about turning a facility around. I like the old Saddleback too, though. Remember, we had a lot of good battles there. But
Unity and I didn't like it because we had to walk up those old railroad ties. And he said, you know what, this might be my retirement if I trip and fall.
Yeah.
I can just double down on the Saddleback Unified School District or Community College District, whatever it is.
But I believe that's why Santa Margarita hasn't announced. I think they're trying to secure that facility, or as they've done in the past, Tribunal High School, or so we'll know more about where that game will be located. So it's exciting. The season will wrap up on April 16th with St. John Bosco at the Bowl. And then I've said this joke, okay, we're in the locker room after the game, hopefully celebrating a victory. And all right, the good news is we won. The bad news is we start spring football Monday. Because we literally have got to switch it around. But you know what? I can plan that stuff down the road. Right now, I got to say this right now. I am more excited, not just selfishly as the head football coach, but I have 23 young men who stuck with us. Some of them could have gone to private trainers to get ready for their college scholarships. We know who those are. 23 men that stuck with me that now get to play modern day football. They don't care the number of games. And I commend those seniors, every last one of them, for saying, I want to finish with my brothers.
Well, it's a priceless memory, like we talked about the old Visa
I agree.
MasterCard commercial.
I agree.
You can't replicate what that means to walk arm in arm and for the final time put those 3 stripes on in the striping ceremony. And let me ask you, since the schedule is accelerated, when will the captains be named? What is that? Process?
I'm seriously thinking about right after practice Saturday, trying to figure out where I can put them socially distanced. And have them vote Saturday so that Monday I can announce that.
Yeah.
I need to work with that group, with my captains on some of the things that are coming up. We're still going to get with campus ministry and Helen Steves and have a team mass, a parent recognition mass. The ex-players that listen to the podcast know that event. We gather for Sunday ceremony, and we have the parents come forward to the altar and get a blessing, and we have T-shirts made. They've been on storage forever, and each kid gets a themed T-shirt, Red Redemption, and stay as close to my traditions as I can. I can tell you that when we stripe them up, depending on what night I do that, depending on when the first game is, I think that's going to be a powerful ceremony. I mean, they're all powerful ceremonies, but there's going to be a little bit more juice in this one for what I just said a minute or two ago. I mean, these kids hung, and I commend them, and I know they doubted, and I know that they went to a lot of practices saying, why am I doing this? I mean, let's do the math. In 12 weeks they're going to graduate. You know what I mean? And they get to put the stripes on, and the value of that, and to turn them loose, I can't even wait.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many, disappointments that we've all dealt with throughout this pandemic, but there's so many things that have been revealed. And we always say adversity reveals character, and it's really tested these young men from their faith perspective.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this is a you look at the crucifix there, and we got to go back to church 2 weeks ago, and it was just it was like 4 o'clock. I couldn't wait to go to mass. It was a bizarre feeling. It's not always been that way, quite frankly. But their faith has been tested. But being in a school that is faith first, academics, and then athletics third, this has got to be kind of a wonderful journey for them to be able to go down on their knees and say the prayers and have the leadership and the brotherhood and the fellowship, and then to see it come to fruition that prayers do get answered.
No, yeah, and I was in that bucket heavily for the last 8-9 months, in it heavily, just saying, trust it, boys. If I said it once, I said it 9 million times. The only thing we control is the effort. God's going to control the outcome. I can control the weather. Okay, as we know. Bunch of ex-Monarchs are having a laugh there. But this one was out of my control. But I did the same thing. And but your Catholicity, your faith, your Christian beliefs were tested for everything there's worth. I can tell you, the kids that hung, okay, we're never going to forget last March, whatever it is, March 13th, when they shut her down. That's going to be a day that we'll never forget. This first game, whether it's the 12th or the 19th, is a day they will never forget, because they've been preparing for this day since last August. We went through holidays and now finally, and you know what, Kevin, it's kind of like we're going to have to practice all during Easter vacation, but it's like the playoffs. We have to practice all during Thanksgiving vacation,
right?
Because modern day,
Sure.
So there's some similarities, and we're ending up with St. John Bosco, and hopefully, we're both
just turn the hourglass upside down.
That's exactly it.
Speaking of people that have stayed committed and hung with the program, I want to thank Carlo Valdez at the Miliari Group, Private Wealth Management, Wealth Preservation, one of our outstanding sponsors, and then Total Quality Lending, Chris Poliska, thank you so much. And then our man John Healy at Hook by Crook and Blue Roost Vodka, from bottom of our hearts. And I know I speak for the coach and the athletes. Thank you so much for your sponsorship through this pandemic and keeping the Monarch Nation informed on our Coach's Corner podcast. Really appreciate your total commitment, being all in. And we're excited to announce that the Rollo Invitational is rolling, and we just secured our title sponsor. So that's wonderful. We've got some other hopeful, promising news coming around the corner with a Monarch sponsor coming in the next couple weeks. So some exciting stuff. And also want to thank our executive producer, the man behind the scene, Kevin Rood, who just does Herculean work in post-production and making the commitment to get this on the air and to blue screen it, and every week stepping up his game. And if you haven't been to the Instagram page, the Modern Day Football Instagram page, check it out. This is Emmy award-winning production. The level and the intensity that he is able to capture with that camera, and then what he's able to do with the music and the post-production is this is a young man that's 17 years old that is, mark my words, Kevin Rood, you're going to hear about this guy in Hollywood. He will one day accept either an Emmy or an Academy Award. This guy creates movie magic, and we're so blessed to have Kevin Rood behind the scenes helping us out here during this pandemic. He's done a great job, Coach.
And I work closely with Kevin, and he's at a lot of the practices. You've seen the footage. It was kind of funny because for the last number of months, I have to look at it and make sure that it's all legal. and he's been very patient with me. And Catherine Peterson, my daughter, has kind of helped us. But no, you're exactly right. And he's close to deciding on his college, and every one of the universities that he's interested in. they've already said we have a spot for you in athletics. So, it's going to be exciting for him. And you mentioned, excuse me, you mentioned our sponsors. Kevin mentioned the Rollo Invitational. These are real guys. Come to the Rollo Invitational, and you can meet the Polisks and the Healys and Carlo Valdez, because they're also involved there. And it's going to be a great day, April 12th, and all the support. I'll tell you what, my clean energy guys came through and with the title sponsorship. And, it goes without saying, finances has been difficult. We've said this on the podcast. I'll say it one more time. If we hit a home run on April 12th, life will be easier. I can unscrew about 200 pounds of pressure on the old valve, and we're rolling. And 200 other ounces of pressure got reduced when we got the go to play football.
So let's talk for a moment about the athletes on the field. We talked about the energy. Let's talk about the execution. What's it look like out there in terms of skill positions, and how are the big boys doing in the trenches?
You know what I'm excited about, Kevin, is I've been thinking this, I've said it. If we hadn't been able to play, people would miss the defense that we have. They wouldn't have been able to see him. Now they can see, because this is one of the best defenses we have featured. Speed-wise, it's probably the fastest overall defense that we've ever featured. They can just flat out fly. And we've been going against them for too long. And there are times when our offense, which is a good offense, we can't move the ball. We can't throw the ball. They just, when all of them bring their A game, it's pretty crazy. And that's why I also want to play, find out how good we are offensively. And I can tell you, magic is going to happen. And a lot of them, we knew a lot of them have either tremendous numbers of minutes playing or were starters. The back end, with Damani, and Cam Sidney has just emerged, and he had to jump in on an emergency basis last year, but those reps in that game time, you can't replace it. The corners, Josh Hunter is probably our best cover guy, and colleges are now
great hips,
unbelievable, and a burst. And he's getting bigger and he's getting stronger. And Joshy, colleges are realizing now he's picking up college offers, and I'm proud of him. And he's also, he has, in his curriculum right now, he has 4 AP classes, and he's holding a 4.2 GPA, and he's just a great kid. There's competition at the other safety position. Shoes Brinkley out of Philadelphia, Christian Patero are 2 very good football players. And we can move guys.
But you need
around.
depth there, and you've got to mix and match according to each week's challenges.
And you know how I am, but there's 2 freshmen that are rolling. But you know me, I don't talk a lot about freshmen until they have varsity reps. But I think our fans and you're going to be excited because these freshmen are going to get quality snaps. The front 7 is to dream about. The 2 outside linebackers we've mentioned, Rajon and David Bailey.
Specimen.
Yeah, 6'2", 220 on one side, 6'3", 230 on the other side, and just fly. And then inside, Leviticus Sua has and he's only a 10th grader, but he's just gotten huge, and he got a lot of snaps, and he's one of he's the old school modern day kid. He buttons his lips up and he just doinks you. And you look up and you go, where'd Sua come from? Here he comes. Got good competition at the other linebacker position, a transfer that came in, Tanner Salisbury, who we actually thought might play on the back end, probably a 6 foot, 215, but he can fly. But there's a crazy look in his eye. and then you got Mazzucas, you got Bressler. We have great depth there. And then you talk about the front, Tyler Narayan and Buddy Sagai.
Boy, I thought for some reason he was
no,
gone.
No.
He's back?
Yeah.
Wow. He was ready to go last year.
Yeah, he was an all-CIF player.
Yeah.
And he's back, and it's 50-50 if we can block him, and then if we get him blocked, here comes Buddy. Then you have competition. Kids that are emerging. Jacob Kangaika has gotten huge. And he's playing well. Sione Moa might be the starting nose, and Sione is starting to get it. The nose position is difficult to play, especially Eric wants to run
an odd front, right?
Yeah, he wants to run that 30 defense, and you and I know, okay, you got to have a great nose, you got to have a great free safety to play that defense. Well, Joshy's pretty good, or we can do any one of those kids. And then there's some depth behind them, some young kids that are really, really coming on. And then you've got 2 freshmen that can go right in there and so it's, you can plug in and go. And they just have fun. That's what I like. And you got to respect Eric Johnson. His philosophy, keep it simple, run and hit.
Right.
It's not that complicated, and the defense is way ahead of the offense right now, which is to be expected. But then flip it over on the other side of the ball, and your steady Eddies, Marcichiet and Ralik. We got 2 tailbacks that are really,
dynamic.
Yeah, and Marcisa's got, his speed is dramatically improved. And then Ralik's Ralik. And then, we're solid, with CJ. He's getting a lot of attention, as we know, and it's well-deserved. He's everything you want. And then you got Kyron. Which one are you going to
pick your poison?
Exactly.
And then physical, big, strong, fast. These aren't little jitterbug scat back guys. These guys will flat back you in a second across the middle if you're not paying attention.
Well, the funny thing is every time I see a post, CJ or Kyron, usually they're in some kind of dry fit, or CJ, I hope he watches the podcast, but he likes to have his shirt off in the pictures. But I always show my wife, I go, here's one of our guys. I go, you do realize I look like that when I was in high school. But, and like you say, pick your poison. And a lot of these young men, those are 2 high quality kids, okay? Kyron going to USC, obviously, and CJ is above a 4.0 with advanced placement classes. And then there's one guy that's kind of hidden in there who's actually, every day he comes out and just makes stuff happen, and that's Josiah Zamora. I can't.
I'm happy that he's back and healthy. He was an X factor. This is about a 5'8", 5'9", and just great footwork. And he and Bryce last year had this magical chemistry down inside the red zone that was fun to watch last year. And he was sort of that unsung. You always have these guys you call my X factor, the guy that's not going to get the headline, but the guy that's going to move the chains and make a big play in a big moment. He was that guy for you last year until he got hurt.
Well, and that's, you just said, there's certain injuries that kind of put a gloom on Saturday mornings. And when Josiah went down, we were just going, oh boy, because of that chemistry, because of nobody can cover him in an option route.
Just to remind the fans, this is a young man that broke his ankle during the game, never came out of the game. The coaching staff didn't know he was hurt until Saturday morning. Broken ankle, cast it up the next day, out for the season. I couldn't believe that this young man played the balance of that game with a broken ankle.
Yeah, and that's, those are the warriors that long after I'm done, you remember things like that. Because I remember in the game, I said, your ankle all right? And he goes, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Then the team doctor said, Bruce, I don't think it's fine. We got to x-ray it tonight. And then I got the results of the x-rays, and it was a big hit for the Monarchs, like you said. And then, we keep going with personnel. I've got some depth at the wide receiver. We're actually, we're fortunate enough. We've taken Quincy Craig and made him a slot guy or an outside guy. And you know how good he is at tailback. And Quince was kind of slowed with a little hamstring the last month or so.
We had that big play to start the championship game when he went right down Main Street. And the Moscow team said, where'd this guy come from? And the announcer up in the booth said, where'd he come from too?
I knew where he came from. It was Money's magic, baby. Money set that one up. But we went to it in the second half and it wasn't there. But and there's other kids that, and I didn't even mention Cooper Barkade. I mean, Cooper is legit, and he's going to have a lot of catches and a lot of burn. But we have a lot of flexibility at the position. But you know what? You could talk about it. It starts up front.
What's interesting, the dynamic is, JT Daniels, Gatorade Player of the Year, Bryce Young, Gatorade, all these awards, SEC starting quarterbacks. So how do you temper that expectation with the new young guns coming up to say, okay, got to keep this race car between the lines, as you like to say?
Yeah.
How do you pump them, but keep the race car between the lines? Not say hold on, you're not going to be All-American, week one, day one. How do you temper that expectation? And with the fans too. The fans are going to go, well, where's the next Bryce? Where's the next JT?
Yeah, where's
the next Matt or Barkley?
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And part of the adjustment was from Dave Money and myself and actually, Finley and the wide receiver guys. We all, everybody's counting and is used to that caliber of quarterback. And I would tell you on a daily basis, we have to say, okay, let's focus on what we have. We have an 8th grader, okay, the freshman, who is really an 8th grader. He hasn't played a down of football for modern day. 6'1", 200-pound, 190-pound kid that's got a good arm. We've got Parker. Okay, Awad. The Elijah Brown was the first boy I talked about. Parker, who's only played freshman football, and modern day freshman football is pretty easy because the line is huge. He's got 16 hours to throw the football, and he's got good receivers. And I'm not capping on Parker's ability. He's had some great practices. Then I've got Emmett Brown that's got a whip on him, and I got an offensive coordinator that has a million ideas and a million concepts, and somebody has to emerge, and there are days when we come off and go, okay, put the ball in Elijah's hands, and then there's days we come off and go, I don't know, he wasn't focused today. It's difficult, Kevin. It's difficult, and that's why I'm praying we have a scrimmage, because then we could announce after the scrimmage, and I'm still hoping we can get it. I've still got a few days to line one up for the 6th of March. Because that's the only way you're going to tell. Right. Going against our defense, unless you're Bryce Young, JT Daniels, or Matt Barkley, you're not going to look very good. It's because the windows are open and closed that fast. Right. That's how good they are. And the pass protection is right at whatever we need, 1.6 or 3.0. It's right if we've got everybody blocked up. And there's been days when I told John, I have to tell Eric, just back it down on the blitz package. I need to get their confidence up. We have to have some success. So it's a balancing act. And I commend the kids. They're in this competition. We don't know who the starting quarterback is. We will announce that at the appropriate time and go for it. But But the mad scientist can dial it in. The thing that's interesting, Kevin, you know football as good as I do. There's a package for one kid, there's a package for another kid, there's a package for the third kid, because they all have strengths. And whether it's the 30 series quick game, whether it's the mid-range balls, they're all over the map with the deep ball right now. I won't lie to you, and they know that. It's not nothing that I just get it near them. I mean, you get it near C.J. Kyron, it's a catch.
An atom ball, throw it at him.
I was hoping you'd say. So, and then the piggies up front, when they're all healthy, we've had a few bangs and bruises. They're going to be pretty good. Right now, Masula Tapasua is holding down the left tackle spot. Big old kid, young kid. The Caldwell kid at left guard is legit. The kid that came out of Linfield Christian, 6'2", 320-pound kid. Then you got G. Mick in the middle, George Mickey Hahn, 3-year starter, runs the show. When we rested him for a week, and you saw the difference. His backup battled and got great reps. And that's one of the things, if you want to look for a positive out of COVID, a lot of kids have gotten a lot of reps. Solid at right guard with B.J. Toto, and he's just gotten bigger.
He was a freshman last year. Right?
Yeah, true freshman starter. And I always forget that because he plays like a senior at times. Right tackle is a battle between Jack Lappin. Jack has his moments and has really improved. And then you've got Big Ross. Okay, Ross tore up an ankle pretty good. Of course, it wasn't in football. It was on a weekend, which kind of toast you. But we'll keep that competition going. But they can all play. And whichever the odd man out is, how we teach multiple positions. Yeah. So, and there's a couple of other younger kids that we're counting on also. So, perfect. That's the rundown. The kid that I do have to mention is Chase Meyer, our kicker. And he will be more kickoff, PAT, and field goal. He is dramatically improved in punting. And we're still haven't announced the punter yet. Joe Delaney came out of nowhere and has had 5 or 6 consistent days of really punching it out of there. So
perfect.
Hopefully we don't have to punt too much.
Well, sometimes you need to.
Yeah.
It is it's optional. You don't have to. You can just keep running the ball fourth down.
We're going to do that.
All right. Well, that's going to about wrap things up here. We're excited. The season just around the corner. The boys will get after it. Full pads starting tomorrow, and then it's time to rock and roll, baby. I want to thank all of our sponsors, the Miliari Group, Hook by Crook, and Blue Roost Vodka, and Total Quality Lending. For the coach, Bruce Rollinson, I'm Kevin Turner. Until next time, go Monarchs and rock and roll, baby.
Rock and roll, baby. It's on.